Hey Tom, how are you?
Good.
This is my friend Tom. Tom, say hi to everybody and
Hi.
welcome to the Passionate Ones Project. Really appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by today. Hey, Tom, how do we know each other?
Well, through mutual friends, in LA. Yeah.
All right.
Tough. Yeah.
We met about what? I want to say like 8 years ago, right?
It was. We were. I remember. Yeah, it was probably 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then we started running around LA.
We did. It was quite a bit of fun. Hey Tom, can you tell us a little about yourself and your what you do on a professional basis?
Yeah. So I'm from Chicago. I moved out to LA in 2012 to work at the LA Times, and from there it was like I wanted to be work in entertainment. I wanted to work in film, and that's when I decided to switch careers and then start making movies. And that's my passion now, and my goal is just entertainment, films, and that's where I'm at today. I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what was your educational background for that? Because I know we talked about it once when we were all out for lunch, but I was wondering if you could. What school do you go to do what you do?
It was like I nowadays there's probably a bunch of ways how to get into it. For me, I went back to school. I went to the American Film Institute, and it's a graduate film program. It's 2 years, and you're there just making movies all the time for
Really?
2 years. You're just making movies 24/7. The class is about 120 people, and you're just on top of each other for those 2 years.
Right.
And these are the people when you leave AFI that you work with, and it's a big. You make a ton of connections, and it kind of gives you a little leap up into
The industry
versus being a PA and trying to work your way up. This is just going to be.
Well, explain to people what a PA is.
A PA is like a production assistant.
What are they like the coffee person?
Basically, on set, they're running around. They're doing all that stuff that nobody else on the set wants to do.
Get me a coffee.
Yeah.
All the yelling and screaming was probably directed at them, and
and you make no money, and it's just I just can't.
just getting your foot in the door.
Yes.
So what were some of the student film projects that you did while you were there?
So I did,
Because if I'm not mistaken, I think you remember telling me like you said, there's 120 people there, and everyone gets to make a film, but then everybody else gets to help that other person make a film too, right? So
Exactly.
you may be a writer director of your film, but then you could be like the gaffer or
correct. Yeah.
Right.
I was like a boom operator on one of the films. So your first year, you're doing cycle movies, which are the movies you film every weekend. And the first one is so everybody gets their own movie to make. And my first one was about a cult. Was my first cycle, asteroid, a cult where everybody commits suicide and goes up into space. And yeah,
what was that?
That was
Jim.
Yeah. There was a documentary on it. Something
Heaven's
Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, and then it was about 39 of them. So it was similar to that.
They all drank the Kool-Aid.
They all drank the
So is this like a bit of a? Did you draw upon that from personal experience or?
No, so that one was when we go into AFI, the writers all write treatments, and there was this treatment I found with another director, and we're like, we need to make this as our cycle film, and then so we just went. That was our first movie, and then my cycle 2 was the most successful. I think it was about a street musician in downtown LA who loses his musician partner, and it's all about him grieving over his friend, and we want really we had the whole audience crying, and so me sitting into that theater, I'm like, and seeing the tears, I'm like, oh shit, this is why I need to make movies, because of this experience, just sitting there and seeing the girl right next to you of a movie you made, just crying, was a great experience. And I was like, okay, I like this. I need more of it.
That's the great power of storytelling,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Well, okay, so after you got out of AFI, what was your trajectory like?
Well, it started off, I got hired on to do a feature film.
Which one? Can you talk about it?
It's called, it's called Cowboy, and we never finished the movie.
So one of those stories.
It was one of those stories. We went in to being full production here in LA, and I'm all excited. I started off, I was like an intern there.
Okay.
And then they're like, do you want to help us make a movie? I was like, sure, okay, we'll give you like associate producer. And then they're like, they bumped me up to co-producer, and then they're like, okay, we need a lot of help. So you're producer, let's make this movie. And we went in and started making it.
Yeah.
I think maybe the director saw that the movie wasn't. He was the director and lead actor.
No, passion
and
project.
the financier. And I think as we're going in, he was kind of like, oh, maybe this wasn't the best
vehicle for me.
Yeah, and to do all like both roles is really, really tough.
I can imagine.
For a first-time director. So I did that.
Was he, without naming names, a recognizable actor?
No.
Okay.
No,
All right.
Yeah.
So he bit off a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, he or she bit off a little bit more than
Yeah.
you. Hey, what does a producer do? Like, I'm always fascinated. Like, do you guys like just smoke cigars and drink cognac all day, like in at Cannes?
Yeah, everybody. I always get this question of. Like a producer, the one who will win the Academy Award for Best Picture is the one who, on the ground floor, finds the piece of material that he's attracted to, and then takes just from the script, and builds the team and finds the financing, attaches the director, the cinematographer, the actor, and it's like a puzzle because you have to. There's
a lot of moving parts.
And it's packaging. So you have to make it lucrative to somebody to get to the next level. So you get like the director, and then you're like, okay, I have so and so attached. Then you can maybe try to get a financier or even another actor. And you just build it until you're shooting.
So how does that cycle? Okay, that sounds fascinating. It almost sounds like making a movie is almost a small miracle, and so many things have to go right.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
And I can see why, like when you have like a tentpole movie, like it's Brad Pitt. Okay, here's the money. Let me just give you a ton of fucking money, and you can make whatever the fuck you want. Right.
Yes.
But you mentioned the financing part, because that to me is always like, are there people out there that just give money to make movies, or they just kind of give
there's 100%. You have financiers who just full finance movies, and that's where you will go to them once you have that package together, and then they have like a system where they type in all the actors and see what this actor will do internationally, what it'll do.
So they have an algorithm already set up.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why you have like those.
Okay, but what's their piece?
Expendables and
how much? What is their vig, as we like to say in the street? What is their interest? How do they make money though?
Oh, I mean,
they give you money.
Yeah, so right. You get money, and then they get like the points on the back end, like a percentage, and then they usually are the ones who get paid back before anybody else.
So
in the movie Waterfall.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Explain that one to me, the movie Waterfall.
So the Waterfall is where you have levels of like where the money funnels and whether it'll go into, and usually the investors are at the top, and then there's other companies, and then on the bottom you're going to have like the producer, and the producer probably always is going to get paid last. Like you could have.
Is that the back end?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Well, you want to be at the top. What are you working on right now?
So right now I'm working on two things. One is a series. It's about Chicago and the candy industry.
Now, you grew up in Chicago.
I did, yes.
You're a very proud Chicagoan.
Yeah, but I'll never go back. The weather. I was just there last week, and
how cold was it?
It was 30, and that was awful. And there's nothing to do.
Windy?
windy. There's tons of snow. It was cold, and that's why I think that's such a big drinking town. Is because there's nothing to do in the winter except crawl to your bar down the street.
Right.
Where I love LA, where you can go hiking and there's the ocean.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about LA, shall we?
Absolutely.
People always,
horror stories.
Yeah, and you know what? It is a horror story. Don't move here.
Don't. I don't. Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah. Absolutely. But that's where when I was in Chicago, and I was like, "There's something I need to go to this place called LA." And then I just saw it on TV, and everybody's like, "You're crazy for moving there." I was like, "I don't know what it is. I just have to." And I look on YouTube, and it's like people like struggling, like, "Do not move here." I was just like, "Screw it. I have to do it."
How long you been out here?
2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So like maybe almost, 8 to 9 years.
Okay. But seeing that you count with your fingers, I take it you're not in the financing aspect.
No, math is
Okay. So we covered the financing part. We covered the pyramid, the waterfall rather.
Yeah.
So how do you make a film?
So
you get all the actors.
So you
get the money.
Yeah. So for example, there's this movie that we're developing. It's called the Vine That Ate the South, and it's kind of like 3 billboards and like Place Behind the Pines type of vibe, and it's about 2 brothers who have something traumatic happen to them when they're younger, and then we meet them later in life, and they hate each other, and they have to come back to their hometown in the South to solve their mother's murder together. And in that scenario, where I'm at is I'm sending it out to directors. Like we've sent it to Viggo Mortensen, and he said he was going to read it, and so we hope he says yes.
Yeah. So do you own the property?
Yeah. So my friend who I met at the other company we made that cowboy movie at, he wrote that.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote this script, and we became friends, and he actually lives a block away from me now. And he was like, let's jump on this, and we produce it. And then we have another 2 producers, Doug McKay and Cindy Bond, who are producing it as well. And we're just at this stage of trying to, starting with packaging, and then we can go to
packaging. This is the product.
Directors, then we can attach actors.
Okay.
And then we'll go to like a company, like for example, financiers like 30 West. You can go to them and saying, we have these actors, say we have Viggo Mortensen is maybe directing, say Zac Efron is on it, and then maybe we find the other brother.
Yeah.
And then we would go to them and then get the money to make it, and then we have to decide where we want to shoot it, because there's also the tax incentives on where you shoot.
Right. So are you looking at Georgia?
Yes.
Why is it so friendly in Georgia?
Well, just because they have they just built their system to be. They knew like film would, and their tax credits probably around 30% rebate, and then you can. As you get that credit, you can take a loan out on that, which gives you more money. Then you get the money to start shooting the film. Okay. And it's a whole thing. But Georgia, Oklahoma has great tax credits, and even Illinois and Chicago. That's why you had those big Batman movies and the Transformers film right downtown.
Oh, okay.
They had a great tax incentive.
So did I hear you mention that Viggo want him to direct it, or is he going to play like the
direct?
He wants to direct it.
Direct. He's directing.
What has he directed?
He directed this one movie. I think it was one of the big festivals. I can't remember, but I think it was some Family or The Family. But he had his debut recently, and the film is out there. So I think that he's directing some more. So and that's a strategy too of like finding the people who are maybe even actors who want to start directing, like maybe even like an Ed Norton who was like that would be something interesting.
Pound for pound, probably one of America's best actors.
Yeah,
I like that kid. Yeah. Okay, so you're basically just, as they say, shopping it right now?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, I wish you the best of luck there. Yeah, it sounds like a really good...
it's a fun... The script's amazing.
Yeah? So we've been in pretty much this pandemic now for almost a year. And I've noticed that people have reacted in one of two ways. The first one is paralyzing fear and anxiety, and then the other opposite side would be a total reinvention of themselves. Where on this spectrum did you fall, or did you fall at all? Like, what was what happened to your business?
So I was gone for a bit. Like to make other money, I'll do commercials and music videos.
Right.
And it just went away. March 13th.
Yeah.
Was like, everything was canceled. I was even shooting that weekend, and everything just got pushed. And so I had a lot of time, and I think it was a moment where I could say, okay, let me use this as like a reset.
Yeah.
And like, what can I do to improve? Like, read more. I mean, I did take up tennis and golf, and I just worked on myself and figured out how I could come back when this all ends, and like strategize. And I started making content on the phone, and we did a series all filmed on iPhones with actors, and we sent actors earbuds and phones, and then they filmed a series.
What was the name of the series?
It's called Together Apart.
So you were busy.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to kept busy.
Right.
You
were thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also did some inward work.
Yeah.
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 It's an inside job, Tom.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Thing. Yeah.
And it's good that you also were active, because a lot of people were afraid to leave their house. But you said you did tennis and golf.
You have to. Yeah, I had to, and it was just like I would go in. I was going insane, like the first 3 months of like not leaving, and I just said I have to get out, and I just have to. I'm on the mentality that if I'm personally careful of what I am doing, and like just I got out. And we're lucky enough to be in Los Angeles. Like some people who are in other cities, but I think in LA you have the beach, you have hiking and a lot of outdoor stuff, and really golf was really.
Where do you golf?
I will golf at Griffith Park, Wilson, or Harding.
There's a public course?
Yeah.
There's 2 public courses at Griffith
Two
Park?
public courses there. Actually 3. Roosevelt, which is 9 holes, and then 2 18s, and then a driving range.
Last question.
Yeah.
What are you doing after this interview? Do you have an interview?
What am I doing after?
Do you have an interview today?
Oh, yes.
With who?
I'm just doing it. The times are interesting right now, but it's
What's the name of the production company?
Vixen Media Group.
Vixen.
I'm
What do they specialize in?
In adult content, adult entertainment.
Oh, like porn.
Correct.
Okay.
Pornography.
Interesting. And what do they want you to do?
Produce.
Not fluff.
No, not fluff.
Okay.
Just produce.
What does a producer do on a porn? On an adult.
This is they basically.
Are they looking for a few good men?
Budgets.
Yeah. Okay.
So
a real job.
Yes.
Oh,
but you're not. And yeah, you're basically setting up. Just think of the film.
It's a business, right?
Business, and they're paying money, and they're actually adult entertainment is blowing up right now because everybody's just at home on their phones.
Right. So you said something very interesting. They're paying.
They're paying.
Yeah, I mean
that money. Yeah.
Right. So that must be like it. You got to look at it as it's just a job.
Correct.
I mean, if you're on the other side of the camera.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I mean, locations have to be found, like you said, right? And sets built, maybe not.
Yes.
Sheets have to be washed.
Yeah. All of that.
Yeah.
And I we'll see. I'm gonna take the interview to see what's it about. Yeah.
All right. That's cool, man.
Yeah. We'll see what I can.
Well, it's always, I think it's always important to end these interviews on like a adult themed or a porny note. Yeah. Anyway, Tom, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Grazie.
Bye.